Hi Aquarius, this is Kay. You're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to your reading. I hope you're doing well. Please like and subscribe, especially if this reading resonates for you. So let's find out what Archangel Michael and the Holy Spirit want you to know today. All Aquarius, watch the video. And by the way, thanks for watching the video. Hey, let's find out. We're talking about align, being in alignment, aligning with whatever your desires are. That's what I felt like saying. Felt guided to say. Instead of saying being aligned with your highest self, I felt like saying being aligned. Also, you know, when you're actually achieving what you're aligned with your desires, it's because you are aligning with your desires, which is your highest self. So aligning, aligning with what you desire is your significator card right here. Very interesting, I must say. So you know what? I'd sure like to read that. I would like to read that. I just felt like I wanted to read that. Let's see. Are we alphabetical here? Well, look at that. I found it right away. There's a rather glopped surprise awaiting unwary visitors in the small corridor between the kitchen and the living room. There, in the far corner, is an unsightly damp patch. That would be that in there. Home to a cluster of orange-stalked mushrooms, and percup. I don't know what percup is. Must be this here. Percup might be that little thingamadoogie there. A little character. Like a live character. A curious pink blob perched on top of a purple bracket fungus. Yeah, curious pink blob. It's got an arm and a little paw and ears and eyes. Percup. Often I'll hear an intake of breath when visitors first encounter this bizarre menagerie. Then I'll be told that damp can get into walls and given various suggestions meant to be well-being or well-meaning, but missing the point. Some visitors assume I'm too lazy to clean up and repair the cracked plaster. Others simply leave at this point without even waiting for my explanation. However, seeing as you are still here, it will be my humble pleasure to give it to you now. The explanation. It's worth remembering that everything in this cottage serves to act as a gentle instruction. So what can a rather glopped damp patch teach us? Perhaps the best way to begin is with Percup, a creature of few words but who seems constantly alert day and night, as if waiting for something only he can sense. And then one magical morning it will happen as I wake to discover a spectacular pink glow gently pulsing through the entire, I think it meant to say through the entire cottage. The source, a magic crystal that has grown overnight on the bracket fungus, and that Percup now intently guards. Oh, it's that crystal, that beautiful crystal that's behind him. I thought maybe that was mushroom growth too. It's a crystal back there. See, he'll say, the shrooms slowly swaying beneath him. It's all aligned again. Sastaculous thing, magic. You can think nothing's happening for ages, but secretly it's all aligning. You just don't know it yet. And you can't force it either. These things happen in their own time, their own alignments. And of course he's right. Just because I can't see the magic in a damp corner doesn't mean it's not happening. Who of us can tell when a bud will flower? Or ever predict a rainbow? Just because we can't see them doesn't mean magical forces aren't aligning all the time, out of sight, out of mind, and at their own pace and rhythm. We don't need to fully understand the mechanisms, simply appreciate the crumlush wonders and joys magic is capable of creating when its mysterious forces align. Crumlush wonders, I guess, would be like the breadcrumb trail. Percup's crystal will disappear sometime over the next few days, and his watch will once more resume, none the wiser as to the time of its reappearance than you or I, but knowing full well magical forces are already aligning for its spectacular return. At times when nothing appears to be happening, know that magical forces beyond our sight and understanding are always aligning. So yeah, aligning with your desires, which is, the calling of your higher self, your soul. Okay. Very interesting story. So the crystal's going to disappear in a bit, but with all of this, as it is, it will reappear at just the right time. But nobody knows for certain when that's going to be. You just have to have the faith and the belief that magical forces are at work behind the scenes, and that you will experience something serendipitous. The Hermit. The Hermit? Okay, the Hermit energy. That's just, sitting in the mystery of life, really. When you're hermitizing, sitting in the mystery of life. With a small light that dispels enough light in the darkness of the mystery to guide your way, your steps. 10 of Spears, which is the 10 of Swords. Okay. 10 of Swords has led you to seeking guidance, hope and faith, trust that you will overcome this, whatever it is that's disappointed you greatly. You may have just disappointed yourself in life, or someone else has in some way, betrayal or whatever. But by aligning with your desires, you come to know what your desires really are, like what you truly desire. What do you want out of a situation? What do you want in a relationship, let's say? What kind of relationship? What do you really want? Not what just shows up, but what you really want. Because some of us will just take what just shows up, because they think that's maybe all they'll get. So, and it is. If that's what we think, that's all we'll get, that's what we'll get. Because the universe, is not discerning that way about whether you are speaking your truth or not. To it, the universe always responds to you like you are speaking your truth, even if you aren't. You're in denial of what it is that we truly want. We're in denial, and why did I do that? I have no idea. But we have the Moon. Talk about the mystery. With 32 showing up here, which is 5, it's change. It's about 32 is in the twilight, in the cherry twilight color instead of the white of the lilac twilight, and I shall read that right now. Moon is number 32 in the twilight, in the cherry. Well, that's in a language I don't understand. Okay, here we are. Cherry twilight for the Moon is illusion, danger of going wrong, meeting with an unknown or evil place. So it's about traditions, deceitfulness, mysticism, communication with the ineffable and subconscious. Pregnancy is possible. Ooh. But the lilac, the lilac is usually more positive than the cherry, but that doesn't always mean that, and I found that out too. But the lilac twilight would be, if it's a white number, it'd be intuition, reflection, rich inner world, mysticism, reliance on tradition, and burden of the past. So it's not completely positive because there's burdens of the past there. But the cherry one, which is yours, illusion, danger of going wrong, meeting with an unknown and evil place. Meeting with an unknown. I'm thinking about that because the reason why I'm thinking about that is because of the Moon, and this one here, meeting with the unknown. Having thoughts that are, scary in nature, or you would say you're afraid of something negative. That the unknown is going to be something you're not going to want to experience. After having been disappointed in the past, disappointed, or being disappointed right now, that you're having a difficult time aligning with your true desires, because what it is that you really want is because all you've ever experienced, or really at least documented, because we might experience some really good things in relationships, but it's kind of like we expect that, and it's like one of those, when you say those things like it's a no-brainer, it should just be that way. But we're not oftentimes feeling grateful, graciously grateful that that positive thing is happening in this particular relationship. We just see it as that, well, that's the way it was supposed to be, so it's not like they're doing anything special, right? But without that graciousness, without that gratefulness for even the good things that happen in a relationship, because somebody is being copacetic and y'all are getting along and stuff like that, and it just feels like good times at times, because we're not grateful enough for that, we don't see the silver lining. We're not ready to see the silver lining when something happens that's not positive in a relationship. So if we were able to see the silver lining in and what could be considered a bad or negative situation, we would be definitely grateful for when the positive things show up. And we wouldn't have that mindset that says, well, it should be that anyway, so that's nothing special. It should just be that way anyways, right? So it's not like they're doing anything special, So it is really about being grateful for everything, even the things that don't show up the way we would like them to show up. Seeing that silver lining is there's a reason for it. There's a reason for what it is we're experiencing that we don't want to be experiencing. And most often the reason is because we're not aligned with our true desires. What it is we really want in a relationship. Because if we're clear about being in alignment with what we want to experience in a relationship, it means that we're going to have patience and acceptance as qualities, okay, that we possess. And B, when we have we're in alignment with it, we're going to be attracting, we'll be that magnet. We're attracting that kind of person who's going to come in with those qualities. And the two of you are going to be more copacetic, more cooperative and collaborative and whatever, just adapting well to each other. Yeah, and even if there's not, like, let's say we say, well, what kind of qualities would you like in your person, man or woman? And you say, well, they got to be good looking, they got to have a good sense of humor, they have to be earning a living, they've got to be kind and caring and sensitive and all those sort of things, right? Good, want to be a father or mother or good with kids, stuff like that. When you're clear about those things, and maybe this person you've attracted them, they're not all on board with everything that you have this list for, because we all have done it, right? We say, write down what it is, journal what it is that you want in a person. Well, no one's perfect, right? So even the closest perfect person you could be attracting into your life, there's going to be something that's not. Well, it could be something like they don't want to have kids right away. They might want to wait 10 years or more before having kids, or not at all. But it's going to be something that you can overlook and accept and adapt to, because you could always, you could always have a life full without children in it, without having that legacy. So I know a lot of people, a lot of couples that have gone their entire married life so far and don't have children, and they're living very, very full and happy lives together. So it could be that that person that you're attracting into, and this is just an example because it may not even be what you attract, but they could be somebody who's just not going to tick that one box, right? And you're going to be so grateful and happy because you're aligned with your desires, so grateful and happy that they have all these other qualities that you can somehow overlook that. And maybe it's not that one that's such a big one, that if we make it a big one, it could be something like they don't have really the greatest sense of humor. They just kind of have a dry humor, or they're serious. They're a very, very serious person. And you wish that they would, you could tickle them really easy and they would go, ha, 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 and they tickle you back, and it's just all fun and games and laughs. They tell a joke, you tell a joke, you're all laughing at each other. You might wish that your partner would do that, but they're just not made like that. And so they might be a serious Capricorn. Just say it. But it might be something you can overlook. You can live with that because they're caring, kind, compassionate, they're sexy, they're good looking, they're they want children, they maybe want to be married, all that sort of stuff, right? Okay, so enough with the examples for now. Let's get going. Something has betrayed you. You have betrayed yourself, or someone else has betrayed you, or something else has betrayed you. Because the alignment isn't there, or it's there, but you're not patient enough to see how the magic shows up, giving it the divine timing, right? One more. All right, we have got Two of Spears. That's the Two of Swords. Refusing to see what it is that you need to make a decision about. When the card shows up in your reading, it means the divine is saying you've got to do this. Just if you want to have that happiness, you've got to do it. The Seven of Bricks, which is the Seven of Pentacles, looking back at the past. What is he? Is he like with a magnifying glass looking at it? Or is he just wiping his brow because maybe he's doing some work? Harvesting his pentacles, looking back at the past and seeing what it is that you've been able to accomplish or the mistakes you've made. Death and transformation, major. It's a major arcana, major change. As a result, again, thanks to the divine, saying something's got to end, and it's going to be like a forced end, kind of like the Tower. Something's going to be forced because it's time for a change to be made in your mindset, in your life in some way. Ten of Spears, we've got the Ten of Swords twice here. Wow, that's a major thing. That's big. That's really big. Ten of Swords, great big challenge of being disappointed, backstabbed. Ace of Cans, which is the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups, learning to love yourself. The Eight of Brooms is the Eight of Wands, which is fast incoming and outgoing energy, communication possibly. The Ace of Spears is the Ace of Swords. It's a breakthrough, seeing the truth, an opportunity by the divine with both the aces of having a new beginning that is the underlying energy of love, and the same with the truth. The World, again, the chapter that has not been going right for you is got to come to an end. The divine is seeing to that with the Death. We have the Nine of Spears, Nine of Swords, taking that to bed with you at night. Knight of Bricks, Knight of Pentacles, taking it slow, but it's a journey, and there's a plan, and the strategy to keep moving forward. You always keep moving. You move, but you just move a lot slower, but you're going towards your success, your victory, the finish line. He's got all these bricks of gold on the cart with him that his horse is pulling. We have the Three of Brooms, which is what's the Three of Brooms? Okay, the Three of Brooms is Three of Wands. Pardon me. Look at those curious guys there. The Lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man. The Seven of Cans, which is Seven of Cups. A whole lot of options. Possibly confusing you. Possibly just saying, pick one. Pick one, because that's how fruitful you're going to be. The Knight of Brooms is the Knight of Wands. That could be relocation, like emigrating, or just, going forward in enjoying life. The High Priestess, that's using your intuition or things being revealed to you that were hidden to you before because you're tapping in. And the Ace of Brooms, this is the third one. Third ace. Ace of Wands. With what? The King of Spears. Oh my God, and the King of Brooms. The Strength card. The Strength card. Okay. So, guys. Yep. Aquarius, we've got two kings right here. You've got some options. See? Seven of Cups. You got options. All these here. It is a matter of you picking one. Because unfortunately our society only accepts that whoever we're going to commit to is just one. We can't have more than one in our society. I don't know about wherever you live, but here in the U.S., North America, you can't be with two people. Like, unless it's clandestine, or your spouse or your main partner agrees with it, whatever. So anyways, alignment, right? Align with what it is that is your desire, Aquarius. You want to make sure that the moon is going to not be a serious player in your movements forward. You want to see, because this is an illusion if you don't make a choice. It's just fantasy. Just like, oh, look at all my options. I got this, I got that. I could be with this one, I could be that with that one. Well, yes, you can in your fantasy mind, in our mind, in our, just whenever we're thinking about it or reflecting on something. That's just illusion until it becomes something you choose, and then that becomes your reality right here. What you need to know, though, is that you have two people. Let's see, King of Spears, Ace of Brooms, Ace of Wands. You have two people, King of Wands, King of Swords, and King of Wands. Some kind of new beginning, moving forward, being offered to you by the divine. It's going to be a match to your desire, because this is the Ace of Wands, which is the quintessential desire, right? The motivation, feeling, being in touch with whatever it is that you desire. The High Priestess, the Knight of Wands. Wow. Okay, so the moon here, we've got illusion, danger of going wrong, meeting with an unknown and evil place. So danger of going wrong, since you've got two choices right here, you might be too afraid to make a choice because I hear you. I would fear with you too, because you got two guys or two women, depending on what you're interested in, who are both showing an interest in you and want to date you. It's kind of like, well, who do I pay attention? Well, just go have some fun with them first, right? Just go and jump through some hoops of fire, like the Knight of Wands in other decks does. The horse jumps through a hoop of fire. Just go and get to know both of them. You know, nothing's saying that you have to, commit to one or the other right away. Nothing saying. You could be honest and say, I'm dating this person, to the King of Swords, and say to the King of Wands, I'm dating this person. You could, or you could keep it quiet. It's up to you. But be in alignment with your desires, but also as much as important as that is to be patient, to have the trust that you will see. Things will become clear for you. It will no longer be an illusion. There will be a reality for you, and it's you're going to choose right as long as you have the patience and for the divine to work its magic. Your desires, because whenever I know Abraham, Esther Hicks, who is Abraham, channels the team or the group of Abraham from Spirit. They always say how our desire, when our heart puts out a desire, it's like a rocket coming out of our heart and into our vortex, which is just basically the universe. You know how they talk about God has many mansions, in the Bible or whatever. God has many mansions. It's kind of like God has many rooms in the mansion, or God has many mansions. A mansion for you, mansion for that person, mansion for that, and so forth, so on. Your mansion is going to be, because whenever we think of mansions, we think of, big money, status, and all that. Like, it's good stuff, it's good stuff. So when we put a rocket desire out from our heart, the answer to it shows up in our vortex, which is the mansion, our mansion in the universe, in the ethers. Okay, so anything that is aligned with our hearts is pegged for us, tagged for us. That's mine. That's Corey's. That's Deidre's. That's Ken's. All right, so that's the kind of thing we're talking about here, is that you want to be in alignment with your desires, because every time you put a desire out, and when I think about that, I look at these mushrooms here, and that reminds me of a rocket. But it's a rocket going out from your heart that then is matched and answered, they say, answered in the vortex, in your vortex. So it's kind of like having a great big warehouse. Huge warehouse in the ethers, the universe, that's just your warehouse of all of your desires. Whatever it is that you desire, it's there. You just have to become aligned with it. In order for you to be able to access your vortex, your warehouse, you have to align to it. So if you can imagine your vortex of all good things, anything that you can think of that is grand, something that would make you really happy to experience, like, let's say, $10 million. If you want to have $10 million, you have to align to that energy. And let's say $10 million is a lot of energy. A whole lot. Everything is energy. So you get yourself in alignment, which means that you have really gone within. You've really become very, very aligned with your inner self. And you think and you speak and you behave in very beautiful, wonderful, life-affirming, loving ways, keeping your judgments to an absolute minimum. If you have a negative thought, you change it right away. You just are like this ball of human flesh. You're this ball with this human flesh, okay, of all this light, that just emanates out into your world, into your universe, that keeps attracting all the things that actually match that kind of light. So you need a lot of light emanating out of you, because you are that from the very internal self, the internal of you, the inside of you. You are that But you've got to let your ego, you've got to be able to relax your ego, which is fears, and learn how to raise the bar on trust and faith. So while you're relaxing the ego of fears, healing your wounds and healing things that you fear, like I'm not going to be able to pick the one that's right for me, right? That I'm afraid of making that choice, because what if I choose the wrong one? Well, if you choose the wrong one, you can get rid of that one and hopefully this one be available, kind of thing. But it's about relaxing those, like taming those fears, so that while that's taming, your trust scale goes up, your faith scale goes up. That goes down, fear goes up, love, which is trust and faith, goes up. You become a much bigger presence in your life, in the universe. And as a result, you attract things that are on the big energy side, like $10 million. If not 10, it'd be $1 million, or maybe $100,000. Maybe you want to have a particular car, the same thing. If you think that, if you put a lot of value onto anything in particular, like you think that Audis or Porsches are the most coveted type of vehicle to have, and other people will probably disagree with you on that, but you feel that an Audi or a Porsche would be something that would, you could be very proud to have, to own and stuff like that. That's a big energy thing then, because you put a lot of value on it. So you've got to step into that energy in order for you to be able to attract, having the opportunity to experience that, to bring it into your life from your vortex. You have to align with your vortex. Okay, so it's the same with the type of house, or the type of bank account you want to have, or the type of person. Relationship, the same thing. If you want to have a particular person, you've got that list of I like this, that, and the other thing about a person. That's what I would like to have in my, to tick those boxes. Then you've got to make sure that your backyard is in order. It's organized. You got your ducks lined up in a row. You've got your own backyard cleaned up, so that it is emanating and attracting the person that you've got all those, this is what I want. I want this, that, and the other thing in that person. If you're not all those things yourself, then the chances of you attracting that is you'll attract 4 out of the 5 things, because there's one of those things that you're not fully in ownership of that yourself. So you will only attract that which a person is going to have, 4 out of 5 things, and the one thing that you're not in ownership of might be something that it's not in them either. But it could be something that is really important to you, but it might not be as important to you, so it's okay if they don't have it. You see, so it just depends. It's relative, right? So you've got to be able to clear up your own illusions or your own misunderstandings about what it is that you really want to experience in your life, because so far what you've been experiencing is letdown. Aquarius, you've been stabbed in the back, left for dead with the 10 of Swords, big time. Where is it? Here too. And it's put you into the dark night of the soul at times. Think you're seeking the light. You're like, what? Dark night is, the dark night of the soul. You go, what is it? What's wrong? Why? Why not? Why can't I? Why do I keep getting this kind of person? You're seeking the light. You're seeking the truth. You got questions that you want answered to, right? So you have been forced into, through relationships not working out, forced into having to seek answers. You get some answers, and it's just like what I said, you'd have to clean up your own backyard before you can say, that's bringing clarity in, right? There's not going to be any illusions, no more fears that you're not going to be able to choose the right one, or you're not going to know if they're the right one, and you're not going to, you don't know if you'll be able to accept them if they can't have they don't want to have children, you know, or if there's just something else. Maybe they have a tooth missing in the front. Maybe that's just something that you don't know you could get over, you know, get around. Well, you know, so it's something that you've got to be able to answer within yourself of how important that is to you. Is it more important than feeling loved up and feeling like you belong in a relationship that's not going to betray you? The partner that's not going to betray you and leave you feeling lost again, and, you know, and trampled over, you know, left for dead with all the swords in your back. So you've got to be able to look at the truth, because she's got a blindfold over her eyes. She's refusing to see, and she's blocking her heart with the swords, like as if to say, don't you dare try to approach me from try to get me to have an emotional response, because I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have an emotional response, and I'll probably slice you up with one of these swords, right? So it's about, you have to make a decision about, you have to see the truth and say, yeah, I guess I need to kind of do that. You know, maybe I do need to seriously look at what's going on inside of me, Aquarius, that might be pushing people away. Okay, and I say this with great love and humility. There's no judgment. We've all been there, and many of us are still very much there. Okay, so we're in denial. In other words, there might be something that we're lacking in us that we want to see in another person. And I could leave it there. I don't have to say anything more about that, right? We don't have it completely secured within us, but we want it in another person. Okay? So then the divine is saying, you've got to take your blindfold off, and you've got to start looking within. You've got to allow your heart, you've got to allow yourself to become more vulnerable, so that you can see through the reflection of others what it is that you maybe need to work on within yourself. Letting go of some old inner wounds, like childhood wounds of the past, and other wounds of the relationships that you've been having, which they call baggage, right? And so the Seven of Bricks is the Seven of Pentacles. This would be like not only looking at your mistakes that you have grown, you know, in your garden patch, the mistakes. It's also looking at what it is that you have accomplished. Okay, so look at both. Look at what you've accomplished in a relationship, what you've been doing good, doing well, and look at the things that maybe you could say, you know, I could tweak this a bit. Maybe this particular belief that, you know, I'm not going to accept somebody if they fart at the dinner table. You know, you might kind of relax on that one a little bit, kind of thing, because, you know, I'm sure many people fart at the dinner table. I know I do. And I know you didn't want to hear that, but it's true. I can't help it. Anyways, death, okay? Death and major transformation. Put an end to it. Allow the divine to help you put an end to what it is that you have a grievance about towards a person that you would want to be in a romantic relationship with. Okay? Put an end to that so you can transform your romantic life. Put the swords away. Put the swords away. Change is like with the 10, it means there's a new beginning right around the corner. By peeling yourself up off the ground, dusting yourself off, and saying, okay, I do recall there's something that I behaved in some way, or there was something that I know my partner didn't like about me, or whenever I said a particular thing, they thought I was judging them. Maybe I should look at that. It could be just one little thing. Tweak it a little bit. Say, like, if your person farts at the dinner table, okay? You might say, yeah, instead of saying, did you just fart? Oh, that stinks, that stinks. How could you do that? And you get up and you walk away with your dish and you move to the living room to eat, kind of thing, leaving them at the table by themselves and feeling bad. If they're feeling bad, but they might have heard it so many times that they have their own defense coping mechanism up, that they laugh and they'll say, I'll just fart again. It's an eye for an eye thing. The attitudes, okay, because we're defending ourselves, we're defending our feelings that are being hurt by the other person. So instead of that, we could say something like, well, I guess dinner must have sat with you really well. And they might say, oh, you noticed. and you go, yeah. And then you say, just give me a minute, I'll be back. So you walk off, or go around the kitchen, come back, or go to the bathroom yourself, come back, and by the time the air is cleared, you can sit back down and finish your dinner. It's what I'm saying. So tweak it so it doesn't become an eye for an eye combat between the two of you, which eventually causes resentment. Hurt feelings cause resentment. Words cause resentment. Because we want to learn to be able to love ourselves with the Ace of Cups. Learning to love yourself is number one. Number one. There's no number one. There's nothing higher than that. Number one is learning to love yourself, because when you can learn to love yourself, it becomes a no-brainer to be able to make someone else feel loved. That you can love someone else and that they'll feel loved. So then the the 8 of Brooms, which will be, you'll have some passionate conversations, back and forth, communication that'll be fast going, exciting, right? With somebody that is going to make you feel like you can speak your truth and you don't have to worry about it. And I don't mean speak your truth in a cutting way, but speaking your truth, who you really are, that you are a caring, compassionate person who doesn't want to beat somebody up with your words or any other way. You truly want to be in a relationship with somebody who may not tick all your boxes, but your truth is that you're ready to be adaptable and accepting, because you're not perfect, right? They could have the same kind of things if they want this, that, and the other thing in the person they want to meet, and yet you don't tick all their boxes. So it's kind of like coming to that conclusion that, and this could be a breakthrough for you, that it's okay to be able to speak your truth with somebody and they're going to accept you because you're accepting them. That is changing your world. That is putting a chapter to the old you and having a brand new chapter with new pages and more chapters of life that goes in the direction that makes you very, very happy. This 9 of Spears will be things that you're going to continue to look at, is because you're wondering, again, with the timing, the divine timing, when is it going to happen? Am I ever going? I just got out of something that was, very painful to me, and maybe you've been through this a few times, and you're like, I just can't do this anymore. I can't do a relationship, and that happened to me again. And you're just fretting over it to the point where you're wondering when it's going to happen, or even if it's ever going to happen. And it's all about divine timing, so you have to raise the scale on faith and trust in the divine, that there is magic that is just, you just can't see it, but it's you've got to come in alignment with it. There is magic all around us. That is the ethereal, the universe. Magic is there. Our vortex is the magic, because it's got all the things that we want, right? And our heart desires. So that, and by calming your fears, right? Down for the fears, up for the trust and faith. That will see you no longer losing sleep at night, because you'll just be putting your head on the pillow and saying, God's got my back, God's got this, the universe has got this, which is God. The universe in this dream, the illusion, right? The universe is the all-giving God, and it's not discerning in that it knows your heart, but if your energy isn't with your heart, then it's got to answer to what is your energy. What's the biggest energy coming out of you? If it's not your true heart's desires, it's some other kind of energy that then God has to respond to. Knight of Bricks, which is the Knight of Pentacles. It's something that you just do this. It's something that you're just going to have to, it's not an overnight fix, is what I'm trying to say. It's something that's going to take a little bit of time and work on your part. Okay, Aquarius, you're going to have to be able to say that it's in divine timing, but while it's in divine timing, I also have to, clean up my own backyard, as I said. Three of Brooms is getting yourself prepared for the magic. That is, again, preparing for the magic is looking at what it is that you need to do, but also being very being optimistic. That's it. Optimistic about what is on offer to you. What will be on offer to you? What is on offer to you as you're working to clean up your own backyard? Your mindset and your fears and stuff like that, the wounds, and ask the divine to help you heal some wounds that you have from the past, even if you have physical wounds or emotional wounds that you've kind of cemented from all the relationships that you've had that have not worked out for you. Ask the divine to help you to heal those emotional wounds, because those emotional wounds are acting as a great big like the siren or the emergency at the wall too, just pushing away. Seven of Cans, Seven of Cups is like looking at what's on offer to you, that you will eventually need to make a choice. You will eventually need to make a choice. Come out of the being confused because there's just so much, everything's like, you got these two guys here, there's just so much on offer to me. Everything's shiny. Which shiny object do I pick, right? So you have then the Knight of Brooms, which is the Knight of Wands, and that's what my suggestion was, that which, Archangel Michael be saying to you, have some fun with it. Just have some fun with your options. Okay? The opportunities that's going to come to you. But use your intuition. Allow yourself to be able to see behind the veil and see how precious and valuable you are. Even if you don't clean up your own backyard, you're still precious and valuable. But you may not get in this world of form, physical bodies and all other types of forms, a car, money, house, that kind of thing. You may not see all that you put into your vortex. You'll have a different version of it, a slightly lesser version of it. And I say that it's going to be pretty high anyways. It's just not going to be the exact what you think would be just like amazing that's sitting in your vortex right now. The $10 million, whatever. So the divine is saying then, tap in to your intuition so that you can see clearly. You've got the moon energy here. The intuiting, listening to your gut, how you feel about a person, how you feel about a thing, anything, the answer or the clarity for that is always when you sit in silence, listening to your intuition, your inner voice speak to you, which is your inner person, your healing inner child. Right? The more and more you heal your inner child wounds, the more and more you become, you start sensing more. That sixth sense, sensing more. And then the divine is saying, because you got on offer from us, if you want to take it, it's up to you, free will, right? Ace of Brooms, Ace of Wands, a whole lot of passion and desire. Like passion and desires that you will be experiencing and pursuing in the very near future. With these two dudes, okay? The King of, what do you got? This King of Swords and the King of Wands, alright? These two dudes, the Scarecrow and the Lion. Right. I thought the Lion was about the heart. Wouldn't that be the King of Cups? What do they call it? King of Cans. No. Anyways, these may not be men, because you may not be a woman, Aquarius, listening to this, or, same sex. But if you're a man listening to this, this could be women in their king energy, King of Swords or King of Wands energy. But the King of Swords is more of a black and white person. This is the kind of person that's not going to have, the tickle factor of the aha. They're more black and white. They're in touch with their emotions, but they never allow their emotions to get in between them and a decision that needs to be made, a choice. Okay? So if you want to be around somebody who is a truth seeker, and highly intuitive too, by the way, because the King and Queen of Swords are quite intuitive, like the Queen of Cups is. Okay, so the King of Wands, he is like, he'll take this energy of the Knight of Brooms and take it to the next level. He's like somebody, this energy, I say he only because, could be a she or he, let's just say he. He's like the one that, the proverbial, let's shake the world up and see what falls out kind of thing, kind of guy. They're a whole lot of fun, but they are, when there's something to be done, they take charge. They are a leader. They take charge. They can take control. So if there's something the two of you are doing and something comes out, let's say the car breaks down and you're out on a road trip together. Well, they've got it already figured out. They've got roadside assistance. They have the phone number of a towing company on their speed dial. They and then they'll be the one that says, I've gotta, if it's just gas and you gotta wait for somebody to bring you gas, they're gonna say, you know what, I've got a jerry can in the back, I'm gonna go and I will walk to the next town, or I will hitch a ride, right? And they're just taking charge, taking control, they're leading. And they'll say they would want you to hang back maybe, to stay with the car where you're safe with all the doors locked, let's say. Or they might say, or do you want to come? Yeah, you can come too. Whatever. And they lock the car and the lights are on, the blinkers, and, take charge, take control type of person. You don't have to worry about anything getting done when you got this kind of person, this energy with you. So if that's important to you, then you might be feeling a lot more motivated to be with a person like this. But if it's somebody who seeks the truth, this person is not, it's not like they're not high on speaking the truth. They do speak the truth, but it's not as important to them as this one is. So if you are very, very, that's kind of like one thing that you have, there's the thing. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Why do you do that? We have a thing about it. We have a thing about it. What is the word? We have a thing about it. If it's something that you have a thing about, that you only speak the truth, or you only want the truth, and you want to make sure that whoever you're with, they don't hide anything from you. That you will be, this would be the person for sure. This will be the person. This guy is going to be so busy, taking charge, taking control, and being a leader, truthfully, of course. But it's kind of like he might forget to tell you something. All right? Might forget to tell you something, and to you it might be important, and you'll be with your hands on your hips and saying, why didn't you tell me that before? Why aren't you telling me? Why didn't you tell me that? What the heck? That kind of thing. So, a pet peeve, that's it. You might have a pet peeve about people not being truthful. This person has pet peeve about that too, okay? This person doesn't care as much. All right, so it's one of those things you have to discern what is on offer to you. Just go out and have some fun with them, get to know them, lightheartedness, okay? But you rely on your intuition as well as what your experiences are like with them. Make sure you look for red flags, okay? Because this is the divine offering you a chance to follow what you're aligned with, okay? Your desires. right? And that's where we started with the desires. Aligning with your desires, which really is your vortex, which is really your highest self. Aligning with your desires, your heart's desires. Okay? I hope this was helpful. I really do. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.